Is drifting becoming a big sport? My brother and I have always seen drifting in videos and hear about it on a daily basis within our car group. So my brother would often be curious about drifting. We both owned a Mazda Miata, which happens to be a very good car to drift in. Since my brother was fascinated with drifting, every weekend he would beg me to go drifting with him. I occasionally do autocross events, so drifting was the opposite of what you want to do, but after some convincing, I was on board. We would both go around drifting around any turn that we thought looked good. At first, we were not very good and we were constantly spinning out or crashing into the grass, but after a couple of weeks of practice, we were finally able to pull off a complete drift around a turn. History of drifting. While the true origin of drifting may not be exactly known, we know that Japan was one of the first areas to use this technique. One of the first people to create and use this technique was Kunimitsu Takahashi. This technique led him to several championships and following that loved the smoke trail that he left. The first official events dedicated specifically for drifting was started by Kiichi Tsuchiya. He learned about drifting by watching Takahashi and practice in mountain roads, which gained him a reputation in the racing scene. What is drifting? Drifting is a technique where the driver purposely oversteers while breaking traction in the rear tires, usually going into a corner. The driver maintains control for the entire drift from entering a corner all the way to exit. While the car is drifting around a corner, the front tires are usually being pointed in the opposite direction of the turn, known as countersteering. Without this countersteering, the front of the car will just spin into the turn very quickly and you will spin out. Drifting in competition. Drivers competing in cars that are usually rear-wheel drive drift around the course to earn points based on multiple factors. Drivers are paired off and compete in a tandem pass. A tandem pass is where the two cars drift alternating lead along a short course with a goal of trying to make the best drift as possible while trying to overtake the lead car. Extra passes may be permitted if the judges cannot decide on a victor or if the crowd boos the judge's decision.